Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the United States Congress, recently became an unexpected TikTok celebrity.
Nancy Pelosi's back at it again. She just bought some more coal.
Nancy Pelosi, the stock market's biggest whale.
She literally got in at the best time.
What is Nancy Pelosi buying?
So, what makes an 82-year-old politician from California trend on a platform where most of its users are between 10 and 29 years old? And why is everyone on TikTok obsessed with her every financial move? This is the story of insider trading, obscene greed, and unbelievable power. How did a long-term politician and a seemingly sweet grandmother, who has always been a leading advocate for human rights, become the center of a social media movement largely led by so-called finance gurus on TikTok?
Shouts out to Nancy Pelosi, the stock market's biggest whale. Apparently she's decided to go very heavy in tech stocks, so I'm going to show you guys which ones she bought.
It all began a few years back, when people started to notice that Nancy is, for a lack of a better word, an investment genius. And in 2021, Jacobin announced her to be the Trader of the Year. That was a sarcastic piece, as obviously there was something else in the works here. But why did so many people come to the weird conclusion that she is a gifted investor? Although her husband is in finance, Pelosi herself has a career in politics and was previously a stay-at-home mom. If you take a short glimpse into Nancy's trading track record, you'll be amazed. No one has ever been able to accomplish what she has. In 2020 and 2021, Pelosi and her husband, Paul, have traded over $50 million in assets and managed to make a huge profit with an annual return of 69%. In fact, a quick Google search will reveal that this kind of profit is 6 to 7 times greater than the average stock market yield, making Nancy a better investor than Cathie Wood, George Soros, and Warren Buffett, who are considered to be some of the best investors of our time. Immediately after the news about Pelosi's success, TikTok and Twitter went wild. Dedicated accounts tracking Pelosi's every trade popped up like mushrooms after the rain. A comprehensive profile of Nancy's investments emerged on Iris, an app that tracks all the trades the industry's most accomplished investors make. And to no one's surprise, Nancy's every move began to be watched by everyone across the web, hoping that they too could be blessed with the same fortune, or at least could have a piece of the pie. It seemed very clear that Pelosi understands the stock market unlike anyone else before her. So how did the daughter of Italian immigrants who worked in public service all her life manage to build a net worth of $120 million? And even more importantly, how does she manage to beat the American people to the punch on almost every single trade she makes? This is where her story becomes even more incredible. In 2020, COVID hit and it changed our lives forever. During this time, millions of Americans lost their jobs, fell into poverty, and suffered from anxiety, not knowing what the future will bring. But that doesn't include the Pelosis. The happy couple, who have been married for more than 60 years, were living their best life, so to speak. Spending time at their villa next to the private Napa winery and splurging on expensive exotic cars like Paul's 2021 Porsche. Their only problem seemed to be that they won't be able to host their regular summer gathering this year due to COVID restrictions. These gatherings have already become a tradition and a meeting place for the Democratic Party's big names. And while the entire country was trying to survive one of the biggest crises in modern time, Nancy and her husband had one of the most profitable periods in their lives. Their wealth grew by an unbelievable amount of about $16.7 million. This is a sum of money that most people will not manage to get their hands on their entire lives, not to mention in 1 year. But that was just the beginning. 2021 was another lucrative year for Mr. and Mrs. Pelosi. which at this point seemed to have the Midas touch, making every investment turn into gold, or more accurately, green. On March 19th that year, the couple bought $3 million worth of Microsoft stocks, and lo and behold, only 12 days later, Microsoft announced that they have secured a $21.9 billion government contract with the US military, making an incredible 160% profit for the Pelosi's. Of course, most people believe that Nancy had no knowledge of that deal, and that her husband is a very lucky man who had a strong gut feeling, but some people felt there's a missing piece to this puzzle. In comes Donald Trump, and while not everyone agrees with him, this time the man who made the concept of fake news a household term was probably right.
I used to think she loved the country. She hates the country. Because she wouldn't be doing this to the country if she did. She hates the country. Nancy Pelosi hates the United States of America.
The media started questioning the Pelosi's unbelievable luck, and one reporter even asked her directly if she believes Congress members shouldn't be allowed to trade individual stocks, to which she nervously answered,
"No, I don't know to this second one. This is a free market and people, we are a free market economy. They should be able to participate in that."
But why? What might be the problem? We live in a free country, right? Well, no. This short clip will explain everything at Rain Ferguson.
This is how Nancy Pelosi made millions just from insider trading. Nancy Pelosi is the 6th wealthiest person in the House. Her net worth is $114 million. And you can't really see it at the bottom, but she has about $15 million in Apple alone. You see, it's her husband, Paul Pelosi, who does all the trading, but it's Nancy who's on the inside giving him all the information he needs. Like when he bought $2 million worth of stocks in Microsoft 2 weeks right before the company announces a $22 billion contract with the United States military.
When a poll showed that 76% of Americans don't think that any politicians should be trading stocks while in office, Nancy was in a bit of a pickle. That didn't stop her husband from exercising a call option move that allowed him to buy 4,000 shares of Google parent company Alphabet, shortly before the House Judiciary Committee voted on antitrust regulations. That's right, another huge ka-ching. The power couple could add another $5.3 million to their fortune as a result of this move. At that point, 2/3 of Pelosi's stock portfolio consisted of big tech companies. The only problem with this is that it's her job to regulate those companies, creating an unbelievable conflict of interest. But then something happened that no one could have expected. Twitter banned the popular account @NancyTracker. The account regularly tweeted about Pelosi's insider trading moves on the stock market. This created a more than awkward situation, as Twitter, a big tech company that Pelosi supposedly regulates, now regulates what users are allowed to say about Pelosi herself, might be considered unethical and, at worst, illegal. And although from the outside, Nancy can be seen as a loving mother and grandmother, visiting Sunday Mass at St. Helena Catholic Church, and sometimes picking up the tab for her daughters' and granddaughters' mani-pedis at Blush, the local nail salon, there is a dark truth behind the actions of this lovely 82-year-old grandmother. So no one was surprised a month ago when a public financial disclosure revealed that Paul and Nancy did it again. They have bought around $5 million worth of stock in the software and computer chip company Nvidia. That by itself shouldn't raise any eyebrows, but if we put it into context, it might have tremendous repercussions. The stock purchase came as the Senate was scheduled to meet to discuss a bipartisan bill to boost semiconductor manufacturing in the country. By passing the bill, companies like Nvidia will receive grants, tax credits, and other government incentives. It will then lead to an increase in the stock price, making an already wealthy Paul and Nancy even wealthier. However, Paul ended up selling the Nvidia stocks at a loss days before the vote on this bill took place. Why would he do such a thing? here's my theory. Senator Josh Hawley sent a letter to the Senate, Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee Chairman Gary Peters, proposing to ban members of Congress and their spouses from insider stock trading, and cited Paul Pelosi's purchase of the Nvidia stock. Despite Hawley's efforts, Speaker Pelosi and her husband remain undeterred from cashing in more profits. What do you think? Is there insider trading going on right under our noses? Should we follow suit and buy everything Nancy does? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below.